All right, Shana, let's recap the NBA draft that took place recently. Here, there was no surprise that Cooper Flagg went number 1 overall to the Mavericks, and it seemed like it was straight shock, all the way even up to the Bullets. And I'm kind of happy what the Bullets selected. Of course, I'm talking about the Washington, I can't say the W word, but I call them the Bullets. I'm old school. But just a quick recap. The Dallas Mavericks took Flagg. Harper goes from Rutgers, goes to the San Antonio Spurs. The 76ers get the guard from Baylor, Edgecombe. Duke, again, so that's 2 Duke players going in the top 4. Knipple is going to, of course, the Hornets. Bailey, Ace Bailey, another guard from Rutgers, going to the Jazz. And, of course, our beloved Bullets, Trey Johnson, which I personally like that pick, is from Oklahoma, is going to the Washington Bullets at pick 6. Your thoughts on how that recap worked?
I mean, it went pretty much as we talked about, right? We said those first 3 picks were guaranteed. That happened, right? Of Flagg, Harper, and Edgecombe, right? And then we said after that it can get a little iffy, but it pretty much went as expected, right? Like those first 6 picks, like as you said. As a Bullets Wizards fan, I kind of wanted Ace Bailey, but I'm cool with Trey Johnson. I think he's a great player there. I was happy with either one. I said that the other night when we did the pre-draft video. So, what I did think was weird. Did you see like late in the draft? It was picked like I want to say like 17 or something like that, where they picked the guy.
The Bullets picked. The Bullets picked number 18 overall, who's selected, which I thought was going to be a great player. I didn't mean to cut you off there, partner, but pick 18 in Walter Clayton Jr. from Florida.
Yeah. So they well, that ended up being a part of a trade, which is what we're going to talk about here in a second, where they traded that pick beforehand. And then they got
Will Riley.
That's what it was. Will Riley, and the 21st pick from the Jazz. The one I was talking about was the Blazers. Portland Trail Blazers. They had the 16th overall pick. Did you see they picked a guy and he was like sitting like up in the rafters?
No, I didn't see that.
He was projected to go in the 2nd round, so I guess they didn't think he was to get picked first round. And then they picked a guy, and like the camera shot up to him, and like they just like shot up to like the top of the stadium they're in, and like he stands up in like the rafters. It looks like, and he's like 7'2", so he looks huge standing up like the way upper deck, and he'd like walk all the way down to the stage. It was just funny. His name is Yang Hansen.
Yeah, Yang Hansen from China.
I'm going to find the video and put it on here while we're talking about this because it's hilarious. He's like, they call his name, and then they're like, the camera goes, ooh, and then like they find him way up the rafters. He slowly starts walking down. It was great.
So the funny thing is, not only did he have to experience that, which is pretty funny there, Shano, but his rights gets traded. Okay, as you mentioned, the Grizzlies selected him.
Yeah,
and of course, I don't know why they selected another 7-footer on when they have Edie, right? So they selected Yang Hansen from China, but then they trade his rights to Portland, where Portland selected Cedric Coward in the 11th overall pick from Washington State University. So that brings up another question. I don't understand these. You're trading his rights, and I don't get that.
It makes no sense, and it's still so dumb because a lot of these trades happen before the pick happens. Most of them happen before the pick happens, right? So like you were talking about the Wizards pick at 18, right? So they picked up Carter from 18, but before that, they already had a deal in place where they were going to trade and swap picks with the 18th and the 21st pick. And then like each team like says like, hey, this is who I want, and they pick each other, and then it makes like an awkward situation too, like where Carter actually went up and like put on a Wizards hat, even though he's never going to play for the Wizards. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean it's happened pretty much all through the whole first round draft. I mean, we take a local guy here in Derek Queen, someone that you like there, Shano, the center out of Maryland, gets selected 13th overall by the Atlanta Hawks. But then he gets traded to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, and like that's another one. That trade happened before the Hawks made that pick. So they need to make it like the NFL. When the NFL makes a draft, and like let's say like the Rams traded with the Giants or whatever it is, right?
Right.
So and the Rams move up to the Giants pick, right? They don't say the Giants are on this pick, and then it says going to the Rams afterwards, and like the kid walks up there and puts on a Giants hat and all that stuff. They don't do that. That's dumb, right? They have a hat there with the Rams logo on it. The kid goes up there, puts the Rams logo on. It's so less confusing and all that stuff. The NBA needs to follow that. I don't know why they haven't. I think technically because the league year hasn't opened yet is the reason why I'm here. Is the reason why I hear they do that. It's because free agency hasn't officially started yet or anything like that. But it's stupid. It's dumb. Trade the pick. Make the kids say like where they're actually going and not like the team that's picking them.
I have to agree with you on that one. But the weird thing I think is now the New York Knickerbockers situation. Now they didn't have a pick in the first round. But here's the question. You don't even have a coach, my guy. And they're picking in the second round. They're picking actually the 50th overall. So they're the 20th spot in the second round. And I just don't understand that. You would think they would, sew up a coach or don't get rid of Tibbs, right? And I was a huge fan of Tibbs. But you're selecting a player, and I understand it's the GM or the ownership. I get all that. But the coach doesn't even have a say in this.
Yeah, it's too close to the end of the season. I think that's why. I mean, literally, the finals ended what 4 days ago, 5 days ago, right? It's too close to the end of the season. I think it like you can't like let's say you wanted to hire a coach that's on the Thunder staff or whatever, you can't interview him until after the finals are over. So if you can't interview him until after the finals are over, then you can't hire him. You're not gonna be able to hire him before the draft. It's like not possible. Right. So it's stupid. They need to move it back a couple weeks. I know why they do it so early. It's because they want these kids to get moved into the city and start playing in the summer league. Right. So the summer league starts pretty soon.
Yep.
So I get why they do it, but it needs to move back at least a week or two after the finals. It's too close. Don't have it the same week as the NBA finals.
So finally, Shino, the Wizards picked in the second round. Of course, they had the 10th pick in the second round, which was the 40th overall. And they selected another local guy here in Micah Peavy from Georgetown. But here's the thing. They just traded his rights to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, that was part of the Jordan Poole trade. That's why it makes no sense. It still says Wizards on there, Wizards pick, but it's not the Wizards pick. We know where it's going. Just say the team whose pick it actually is. It makes zero sense.
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
Yeah.
From a marketing standpoint, I don't get why you would want to confuse your fan base or potential fan base more than you have to. Let's say like there's like some huge, I don't know, whatever the kid's name was. What was the kid's name again?
Walter Clayton?
Well, it could be that him too. I was like the guy you just talked about.
Micah Peavy from Georgetown.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say there's a huge Georgetown fan that really wants, like, hey, I want to follow Peavy's career. Oh, sweet, he got drafted by the Wizards, and then he like. So I was looking at the Wizards stuff. Like, hey, he's not here. Like, it makes it so confusing. It just make the trade. It's so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it's a local guy. I mean, that's just around the corner to the new Capital One or the renovated Capital One arena. And I know you're excited about that, there, Shano.
Oh yeah, can't wait to see some new Caps games there for sure. Wizards game. I need to go out to a couple more Wizards games. I haven't been to one in a year or two.
Sure. And of course the Wizards have a lot of needs, a big man, etc. So it's like, why we continue to draft guards? Guard. I don't know. I don't run the front office. Obviously we don't, but it is what it is. But I do like Trey Johnson out of Oklahoma. And honestly, I thought they should have kept Clayton Jr.
Yeah. I thought Clayton Jr. was a good pick at that point at 18, but then, like I said, they traded the rights to that pick away, right? So, Will Riley looks like he's going to be pretty good. I hear pretty good things about him. They say he might be the best pure shooter in the draft. Riley, they said he's got like a really good, one of the best pure 3-point shooters in the draft. So Wizards need that. I mean, they need a lot. So I still think they're still 2 or 3 years away from doing anything serious. I think so. It's going to take time.
you talk about shooters. Let's look real quick before we go. The selection from the Washington Bullets here, Trey Johnson out of Oklahoma, 40% 3-point from downtown. So that's huge there, Shano. I mean, and he's a quick trigger. You know, catch and shoot.
Yep. Yeah, definitely is. And he looked really good in Oklahoma, like near the end of the season last year, for the NCAA season. Right. He looked really. He started to get one of those players as progressed as he was going on through the season. He like continually got better, and continued working on his game, which is good to see. Another weird thing I heard about him was that his NIL deal was he was getting paid more than the coach. A little weird thing to think about there. last year in Oklahoma, his NIL deal was higher than the head coach of Oklahoma. That's a little crazy that's happening.
That's another thing they need to change. We talked about that in a previous video regarding the NIL, but yeah, I don't get that at all.
Yeah, I heard that on the radio today. They said he wasn't a whole lot more, but he got paid a little bit more than the head coach of Oklahoma. And everybody's like, "Whoa, that's crazy."
Yeah, that's clearly crazy. All right, fans, well, tell us what you think. That wraps up our NBA post draft of 2025. And it was exactly what we predicted and what the scouts predicted there. But what did you think of any of those draft picks? It doesn't have to be 1 through 5. We actually went 1 through 6. We talked about the Washington pick and Trey Johnson out of Oklahoma. But should they have gone with Ace Bailey if he was available? Should they have moved back? Tell us what you think. And here's the main question that you want to ask their fans is this trading of the rights, yada, yada, yada. Is that the most confusing thing in the NBA or in all the major leagues? We're talking about, of course, MLB, NHL, the NFL, and, of course, the NBA. Tell us what you think. Don't forget to, and you can leave that comment right below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you have it. And, of course, hit that notification button that tells you anytime that we have a new video that comes out. All right. So until next time, we'll catch you later.